Hello, welcome back to BlenderSushi Live Noding. In this episode, I'm gonna make something that's kind of inspired by this Japanese artist. His name is Ryoji Ikeda. He made a lot of work. The one that we kind of wanna generate is something like this, kind of like the barcode. I think I don't know what he called it, but I've been to one of his exhibitions. This one actually it's really cool. You have the one I went to has this kind of installations in the. It's actually this one. I think exactly this one. It was installed in a large room, and you can walk around the artwork itself, which is kind of like a projections. A lot of like strobing and kind of really weird kind of music, and you can take picture here and you can lay down, and it's really interesting experience. Hard to describe, but this is something that I'll try to recreate using Blender and Sverchok Add-On, something similar to that. Anyway, so yeah, his music. He is actually like an artist, musician. I don't know, like installation artist. His music sounds something like this, very raw. It's available on Apple Music, maybe on Google Music as well. But that's kind of like a noise, and then the visualizations, everything happens at the same time. And if there's like a Ryoji Ikeda exhibition, just go there and try experience that. Guarantee it's a very interesting experience. So I'll try to make like just a simple 2D version of the barcode. So this is Ryoji Ikeda inspired. So basically the idea is just to make like it's not like a grid. Grid, grid looks like this, like a square. You can make checker pattern and random noise. But this one is actually simpler. It's like I think we can make this using just like a very high detail slice mesh. So let's do that, exactly that. Switch to cycles render, go to compositing, save again, Sverchok, create a plane, and create a viewer draw. Actually, I'm gonna create viewer bmesh right away. There's this little functions added in Sverchok by Sverchok developer Zevi. So basically, if you have a Blender set to cycles render, and you have this plane, and you plug this guy in to get a real mesh here in the 3D. And let's see, if we make it like in X direction, and then we perhaps give it some wireframe to be displayed. For this Ryoji Ikeda, I'll make a lot of slicing, so we're gonna have something like this. Make it a little bit taller, but we only want a single, kind of like a single stripes. So this is okay, that's the setup. Now, like I said, in the newer version of Sverchok, we can simply click on this guy, on the material, and you can see the material is being created. And believe it or not, if you go to cycles material, this guy already have SV Sverchok coloring for the vertex color already created. So you don't need to do this each time. It saves you like few seconds, maybe 10 or 15 seconds, but that will add up. And cool that we have this happening automatically. So now we can just give it a color using vertex color and plug the object here, and the color can come from anywhere, but let's test it real quick. Switch to material, view from top, plug this guy into that guy and test it. Cool, we have control over the RGB of the color. And yeah, let's give it a try. How many ways to make a color we already know. We can use vector noise, we can use vector fractal. We can use what else? There are a lot. Actually, random number generator maybe. This will work in integer and floating value, and we can also use the one that is my favorite, is the color in. You can work in HSV mode. That's also very useful. So you can just plug in a color and you can just play with that. I think, imagine if you're like a person and you're standing on this kind of like a large installations. That's kind of an installation that Mr. Ryoji Ikeda kind of doing with. It's really cool. Basically, it's like just a big room, and then with just a single, like two colors, black and white, and then with that kind of raw music. Um, I was lucky enough to see that, and you know, if you have this kind of, that's kind of like a really weird experience. Maybe we can recreate that using Blender, you know, like a 360 video, and then something, you know. Anyway, for now, random number generator. So we have this color. I think I can just plug in this. This will work as well, actually. Yeah, it's bizarrely this actually works. See, this works. We can randomize the seed. Maybe we don't need to see the wire anymore. So we look at it from the top view. That's kind of nice as well. It's funny that this nodes takes the color. I think Linus made this nodes, but it's still like collaborative work. The more correct way is probably to use a vector in and then plug it like this for the RGB and plug this guy in there. Yeah, you can see that this is actually plugging it into the vertex color, but we want it on the face. On the face, however, yeah, you see, this is how simple it is. Like, this is the idea. It's probably with Ryoji Ikeda works, he probably have more slices, and then it has more details, and then this is more not just random. It looks like random, but if you mix random or noise and musics together, you know, like randomizing it based on the noise, suddenly it's become like a whole kind of system. It's almost like if you go out in the nature and you go out in the rain and you look at the rain, the sound of the rain and the sound of the wind maybe, and the trees and the motion of the trees, and then also how the rain falls. Look at how the rain falls to the ground, and then it generates some kind of pearly noise looking. That's kind of the whole system of nature that you can experience every day, even though you don't realize it. That's kind of thing that you can do here. Let's make more slices. So this control this step. Oops. Let's make like 300 cut. So this can be 300 as well. So yeah, with this one you can see there's a lot of white and grayscale happening. You can control actually to have more white or more darker. No, actually, this is random number generator that works in float. If we switch this to integer, now it starts to get more interesting. This is more like a Ryoji Ikeda artwork. Imagine this room. Actually, I even can make this like a dark room kind of environment. World background on, and this guy turn it down to black. This is exactly how you feel in that room. I just need to make like a silhouette of person, and this kind of blinking and doing this really weird stuff. Integer low and high. See, now this is even better. And if I just play that music by Ryoji Ikeda, it's gonna feel more like this. You can control the, like I said, more white or more black if you kind of adjust this. Wait a minute, I just realized that we can also probably use a math here and kind of use the floor or ceiling or floor or smooth. I'll go with floor. Use float, plug into this guy and plug into that guy. Float 0 to 2, and now I can kind of have control over it, more black or more white. So I'll make it more black. See, this is more interesting. Even better if it's, yeah, I think this is kind of nice. I have to look at it, the artwork again. Maybe there's like a Ryoji Ikeda, what is this installation? Test pattern video. This thing kind of, yeah, that's the one I saw in Sydney. This thing flickers, and so be careful if you have problem. This guy actually flickers a lot, but you will see the stripes kind of animating. Sometimes generates pattern that's simpler, but it's like a never-ending pattern, very raw. Oops, actually, I think video is a bit slow, internet's a bit slow. Let's go back. Yeah, it's looking something like this. There you go. There you go. It flickers more than I remember it. But there's this one is kind of pattern that's kind of moving. Okay, to make the line moving, we can do the same thing. Line moving. Okay, this is the line moving. We might need to use fractal actually. See, vector noise. If we use vector, plug into that guy, and this guy goes into there, we have this noise. But with Ryoji Ikeda one, it's seems to be much simpler. So maybe we can use scalar on this guy, and then this plug into the value, perhaps into this guy. Saturation off, and this is standard Perlin. It's already working on the face, but noise tends to be very smooth all across. So we need to, the ceiling thing, kind of plug into that guy. Oh, this guy is kind of flooring the value. Let me put it there. This goes in there. Floor doesn't work. Ceiling doesn't quite work. Maybe I'll use map range. So this noise goes into the value, goes into the V, and I'll adjust this. Okay, something like that. It's a bit better. Although, see, the value needs to have even higher contrast somehow. Yeah, I guess something like that. Yeah, like I said, I might need to use a function here. Maybe floor or ceiling. Actually, ceiling works. So now we got that pattern. This actually not too bad. Perlin and randomize it. And with this guy, if we use a vector in, actually vector move, if we move the source, and this will travel. That's kind of nice effects. That's I like that effects a lot. Y also works, and then the Z, but the X actually move it, so you can kind of have that effect. So with the plane, of course, we can make it a bit longer as well. 6. Okay. So now, if you have like a silhouette of person, imagine that, and see, you have that kind of effects. Very cool. It's a bit chaotic sometimes, but also there's some kind of pattern that's making it. It feels like alive. You can use Perlin, Blender, Blender Noise, Voronoi, Cell Noise may be interesting. It's a lot of white there. Yeah. I like that, like the thinner lines looks really nice. Yeah, okay. We don't get much thinner. We don't have a lot of thinner lines unless we kind of mix the random number with this color, maybe. Yeah, so let's go back to the random number generators, and we have this. If we make it, we use a ceiling or floor, and we go back to what we have before. I think more white, but see, like I said, this is like something that's kind of super simple to create at the basis, but I think what's making it more interesting is actually how it's being set up with the music. You can try it yourself. Have a look at the reference, and then try making a better looking pattern. If I try to push the random number, I can actually push the random number simply by slicing or shifting the value here. There we go. Now we're shifting the value, so we have that kind of effect. So you can randomize and then, you know, add like some kind of a noise, and then shift it, and then give some light strobes, and then raw music. This is a very much Ryoji Ikeda artwork. File, save it again. You can turn this into a monad if you like, if you want. So you can have like a multiple of this kind of grid lines. I can try to do that now actually. So let's try. So I have Y here. Maybe have more divisions. 400. Go ahead, 400, and then so I'm adding the number for the random number generator. I can have like a multiple of this grid plane. I can create it using this matrix. I think apply matrix to mesh, kind of doing this. So if we plug this into that guy and this into that guy, and then with the matrix in, if we generate a view of this, rewire this up from X to Y, make it just a couple, maybe 3, and we join it. When we plug this into that guy, we should have a couple more of this. There you go. And let's look at the materials. Yeah, they are random. Yeah, so you can see we can also shift them, and if you look at it from this way, I think this is really nice. We can make a little bit more, but I think less is actually more. You know, you don't always need to have too many of something like this, like that. file, top view. So now we have that's some kind of system. It's very simple. It's just like a barcode. It looks like a crossing lines as well. But this looks really nice. Let's think what else you can do. I like the sliding effect, but everything sliding in one go maybe a little bit boring. Would be nice if they are sliding in one sliding to the left, one sliding to the right. Like random patterns, slow and in random speed as well. But anyway, a lot of things you can do with just a simple system like this. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it there. Ryoji Ikeda, inspired. Yep. Thanks again for tuning in. I guess that's pretty much it for this recreations of Ryoji Ikeda artwork using Sverchok Add-On in Blender. I don't know what program he used, but maybe he is using a program called Processing. Processing is an open source visual programming, and I think maybe that's him making his flickering music. I don't know if yeah, this is like maybe not 100% real time. This one flickering more, and it's very raw. He got maybe like 100 different parameters to control this based on the sound as well. Very, very cool. Yeah. Anyway, that's this is kind of thing. Maybe this is one of the technique that he actually used using program called processing. With processing, you code everything, or he might be using OpenCV as well, or what else? There are a few other programs to do this, but this is the basic idea. So just black and white barcode stripes based on Ryoji Ikeda. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.